And thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me. Lovely to be back. And I wish you all a happy Pesach weekend for next week. Just wanted to share with you a couple of thoughts on Pesach foods. And there are three distinct, several distinct foods that are mentioned regarding this time of year in the Torah. One, of course, is the Shtei Halechem, the two loaves that we have at Shavuos, which is at the other end of the process that we begin at Pesach time. So then we offer two chametz loaves as a special Shavuos korban in the temple. But at this end of proceedings, we have the matzah, which is this very flat cracker bread, as we know, of course. And then there's another food that's not so much thought about, which is the omer, which an omer isn't actually a word for a count. It's a word for a measure of grain that was offered as a korban mincha on the second day of Pesach. Rav Nachman of Breslov strings these three things together into a particular process, which I wanted to follow through with you all because I learned it and I liked it. So I thought this is one for all of us. And he talks about the fact that the Shtei Halechem, the two loaves of Shavuos, are chometz. Now, as we know, the hallmark of a chometz product is that it's been given time to rise. And it's significant, says Rav Nachman, that we have this at Shavuos, because at Shavuos we're celebrating our connection with Torah and the self-improvement that we work on over a lifetime, may be very long and happy. And this tells us that to improve oneself takes time. You want to learn a Gemara, you can't just read through it once and get it. You got to do it again and again and again. That's why the word for a volume of Gemara is Masechta, which literally means a loom or a fabric on a loom, because it's something that needs to be worked again and again. And the more you go back and forth with the threads across the cloth, the richer the fabric becomes. And so it is with Torah, and indeed with our own souls, that you can't just achieve perfection in one go, except in very rare and exceptional situations. By and large, we have an incremental process of self-improvement over a lifetime. That's why we live so long, so that we have all this time to improve ourselves. This is expressed in these Shtei Halechem, these two loaves that we bring on Shavuos, that are allowed to rise slowly over time, because that's the way of Torah, and that's what we celebrate at Shavuos. We've attained this point when we can now spend our days in these gradual improvements, which are almost gentle. And we push ourselves a little bit every single day to do more, to grow more, to become better people. However, it's not always easy to get there for two reasons. Firstly, it can seem quite ambitious to attain the perfection that we see in the greatest of our people. And secondly, we might not even understand how great we can be. So we start off this process with Pesach, the free gift. It's known as Is Arusa de la Ela, an awakening that comes from above, where on Pesach, God gave us a moment of perfection. And this is how great you can be. Rabbi now. So much so that there is a view that we didn't actually eat the Pesach lamb in Egypt at all. There is a view that we were all miraculously transported to Rabbi, to the temple, and we ate it there. And we were miraculously transported back again. This reminds me of another story, which we'll not go into. And of course, I don't know if this midrash is to be taken literally. I doubt that it is. But the idea is that we were transported forward to this moment of perfection, this glimpse of messianic times when all is well and we celebrate in Jerusalem and everything's fine. We were given a sense of how great we as individuals and as a nation could be, and then it was taken from us. So when you have a moment of perfection that is gifted to you, then you don't need to wait about. You grab it immediately. And that's why at Pesach we have the matzah, which hasn't been given any time to rise at all. Because when you have perfection in hand, you don't wait for it to become perfect. It already is. You just take it. So unlike the Shavuos loaves, which are an expression of the work we do over time, the Pesach matzahs are things that we just have straight off. And therefore, they're flat and they haven't risen at all. Now, when we want to graduate from the free gift of Pesach to the earned gift of Shavuos and beyond, we need to start, of course, with moving away from bad, moving towards the good. That's what it says. Move away from bad and move towards good. So we've had this instruction at Pesach, this brilliant moment where we see what we're aiming for, and we see that it is within our grasp. We can become that person. Then we go back to where we actually are. And this is the second day of Pesach when we bring that carbon omer, that barley measure. Barley is regarded as an animal food. It's regarded as a demeaning thing to eat animal food. And it's also the substance of another mincha, a very sad mincha, the minchas kanais, the mincha of zeal, of jealousy, wrought by the soita, the woman who has secluded herself with a man in an improper way after her husband has requested that she doesn't do so. And the reason why she brings this mincha made of barley without any oil, without any spices, just a very plain raw barley offering, is because she behaved in a way that is approaching the animal. She was allowing her physical desires to override her sense of propriety and holiness. And likewise, this man with her behaved in a way that is approaching that of an animal. And we rebuke her for this conduct by making her bring a mincha that is made of an animal fodder, of the barley, rather than wheat, which is what a person would prefer to eat. Whiskey, well, that just proves my point. Whiskey is so disgusting. So I'm a teenage finisher when it comes to whiskey. What can I do? What can I do? So thank you very much. So on the second day of Pesach, we realize how low we sank in Egypt, or maybe how low we've sunk in life. Egypt was a place of immorality. It was regarded by, as Yosef Hassadi said, Joseph said to his brothers, Evas Ha'aretz, the nakedness of the earth. Egypt was an indecent place, an improper place. I've been around the British Museum, and some of the idols there give you this sense of nakedness, of impropriety, of things that we regard as distasteful. That's how they behaved. And on a deeper level, the Jews were this far from joining in with the idolatry of the Egyptians. The angels complained to God and said, why arresting the Jews? They also worship him. So we were so close to the Egyptian way of life that we had, as it were, betrayed God. And if you look at the Aser Sadibra, 10 Commandments, the second commandment on the right-hand luach, as we see them up there, for example, is don't have any other gods. The corresponding second commandment on the left-hand luach was lo sina, do not commit adultery, because when we worship other gods, it's like we are betraying our special bond with God. So for these two reasons, the fact that Egypt was a place of indecent immorality, and also because we were close to betraying God and throwing a lot with the Egyptians, we were that Sota, that woman who had betrayed her husband. And therefore, we had, as it were, to offer the Minchas Kanais, the Sota offering, to seek atonement for ourselves, and to express to ourselves the fact that we'd sunk below the level of a mentor, a human being, that God expects of us and for which we are created. And it's significant that from that mincha to the shtei halechem, to the two beautiful loaves of Shavuos, for 7 weeks, because this parallels the 7 days of purification that an Isha Nidal, that a woman goes through from the end of her period to attaining the mikvah. She has to go through these 7 days, and the 7 weeks of Shavuot, of the Omer, from Pesach through to Shavuos, are said to express those 7 days of purification that a woman goes through from the end of her period to the mikvah. So it turns out that the matzah, the mincha, the omer, and the shavuos are one big sequence. They take us through from a moment of purity where we can see the future, but it's not ours. It's just shown to us. It's gifted to us, but we haven't earned it. We haven't got ownership over it. We move on from there to a realization where we actually are. And aghast at how far we sunk, we bring that minchas kanais, that barley offering on the second day of Pesach, and then we start a journey upwards. And come Shavuos, we're going to be absolutely amazing. We're going to be like those shtei halechem. We're going to have ownership over this new lifestyle, where every day is a day forward, a day of success and achievement and growth. And that takes us not only to Shavuos, but beyond into the future, to the time when indeed, not only in the Midrash, but in real life, we'll be gathered in Jerusalem. We'll celebrate the Pesach offering there properly, and all will be well. I want to thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Does anybody got observations or questions on that? No? Thank you so much, Rabbi Lester, for joining us today. Thanks everyone for coming. We wish you all a Chag Kasher v'Sameach. Have a lovely Pesach wherever you may be. If you are in Israel, there are not too many fireworks in the sky. Thanks, Carol, again for all your catering over the last few months, years. Not you, with this breakfast wouldn't really happen. We will convene again in 3 weeks' time on Tuesday, May the 7th. The schedule will hopefully be in the news sheet later. So without further ado, I'll say goodbye to those on Zoom, and then I'll do the bracha harona. So let's turn off the record button and the Zoom. There we go.